Hi you guys, it's Liv La Nina and I'm back today to talk about a action anime for the first time, the second go round of YouTube. And today I'm going to be reviewing Hell's Paradise. Alright, since this is the first time I'm going to be reviewing an action anime, I am going to go over the questions, which is what I'll be using to rank them. So, I have 5 questions for the different genres just so that I can compare them accurately among, similar animes versus trying to have everything ranked, just like universally. So, for action, my 5 questions are: 1, how does the main character balance independence and teamwork? 2, is the story consistently exciting and well-paced? 3, do the subplots enhance the character's motivation and overall story? 4, are the antagonists well-developed? And finally, how does the main character grow from defeat or failure? So these are going to be the 5 questions that I use. And of course, the same as with romance, each question 1 to 10. Well, really 0 to 10, but I don't think I'm gonna give anything a 0, so 1 to 10. All right, so just real quick plot summary so that some of the things that I say in the rankings make sense. This anime that I watched on Netflix is about Gabimaru, who is a former assassin who wanted to leave his village, and he ends up getting sentenced to death, and then he's offered the opportunity to get pardoned if he goes to the afterlife and retrieves an elixir of life, which is said to hold the power of immortality. So he's accompanied to this island with the executioner as their partners. There's a group of convicts who go. So jumping into the rankings, how does the main character balance independence and teamwork? For this one, he gets a 6. Gabimaru does not like working with people at all. When the offer is first presented to him, he's very reluctant to do it because only one person can get the pardon. So he sees no point in working with anybody. However, he does realize that there is more opportunity to get further if he does team up. So he reluctantly does it. But another reason I give him a 6 instead of a lower number is because he is a former assassin who is very selfish, and really the only person that he loves is his wife. But he's actually saved his executioner that's accompanying him. He saves her quite a few times. So, he shows that he can work with other people, but he's definitely a hyper independent person. Is the story consistently exciting and well paced? For this one, I gave it a 7. Overall, the story is exciting, and I think it's just the first season on Netflix now, and it did get renewed for a second season, so there's more story left to go. But I think it did a good job with the action. It was action like every episode, but there were some spots where it was kind of more, like more of the backstory and the, explanation of things. But the story moves along pretty quickly and it was exciting. I definitely think there's more room to grow, especially because of where it ended. It really started to pick up there, and I know like the second season is gonna heighten that, so I didn't want to score it too high because there's room for improvement, and I'm taking that into account. But still, for just season 1, it was pretty exciting and well paced. Do the subplots enhance the main character's motivation and overall story? This one, it gets a 9. I'm trying to do these rankings fast, so I'm not gonna go too much into it, but the whole story, the only reason Hollow, which is Gabimaru, agrees to go on this expedition is because he's offered the chance of being pardoned because he's currently sentenced to death and he wants to live with his wife again. So that is his main motivation, and that's the kind of the biggest thing. His life with his wife is the biggest thing that motivates him to do the things that he does. It motivates him to follow the rules. It motivates him to stay in line. It motivates him to work with people. So we definitely see different sides of him all because of that. There's some other smaller stuff as well, like how he feels about life, because of the training that he went through to become an assassin. He's almost impossible to kill. So they actually try to execute him a lot and he doesn't die. And, you know, he's saying that he can't die, but in reality, he doesn't want to die. So he has like an internal battle with himself that also shows itself in his actions as well. Are the antagonists well developed? So this one, I give it a 6 because I feel like we don't really know who the true antagonist is yet. So I will say that when they go to the afterlife and they're fighting, you know, these beasts and these creatures trying to find this elixir, you know, it's obvious then who the antagonist is, of course, you know, but, you know, how about how they got there? You know, the whole, yeah, we're going to pardon y'all. We're going to pardon one person if y'all find this elixir and bring it back to us. You know, so the people who sent them, you know, and this is not the first expedition. They've done this multiple times and nobody's ever brought the elixir back. Actually, nobody's ever come back. So, you know, who is the true antagonist here? I don't know yet, but for who we see, I think they're developed pretty well. I would say primarily right now, the antagonists are the people that they're going against on the Paradise Island, but I'm not convinced yet. So we'll see what season 2 holds. How does the main character grow from defeat or failure? So this one I give it a 7, and it also does have room to grow. But I think for now, we actually do see Gabimaru grow a lot from defeat and failure. The initial one that he tried to leave his village because he wanted to just live with his wife. And, you know, then he ended up getting sentenced to death. You know, he comes out of that. He finds a will to live. He does not let them kill him. Then he accepts the offer to go on this expedition to get this elixir for the pardon. You know, they meet different creatures and beasts there. He fights, even being gravely injured sometimes. He comes up with a plan and he doesn't give up. So he is adapting very well. He is learning his environment. And he's using his resources because his ultimate motivation is to get that elixir so he can receive the pardon. So right now he's doing a great job adapting to failure. He doesn't really beat himself up too much. He just kind of brushes it off and he's on to the next thing. All right, so for this one, the final rankings, we have 6, 7, 9, 6, and 7, which gives us 35 out of 50, which gives us a 7 even. Honestly, not bad. I actually really liked Hell's Paradise, and I like that it got renewed for a second season because this would have been way different if it had not. But I know that there's room for the story to continue. So I actually really liked it. The first episode kind of had me confused a little bit. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this one, but I watched it all in a day. I think there's 13 episodes in season 1 on Netflix. I watched it all in a day and I am ready for season 2 because I need to know what happens next. So that's actually pretty good. 7 is good. All right, so now that the rankings are out of the way, just a little bit more of an overview. So Gabimaru the Hollow is an assassin who's going through a lot of training, that makes his body nearly impossible to kill. So the village chief gives his daughter, he betroths his daughter to Gabimaru and they get married, and Gabimaru actually like loosens up, and that is the one person that he cares for, genuinely, his wife. And I feel like in the beginning, he didn't actually know what that emotion was because, you know, to him, he thought that having a wife would take away his edge to be an assassin. So that is the reason why he tried to leave the village, but he was set up by the village chief and sentenced to death. But again, because of the training, it's hard for him to be killed, but then he also doesn't want to be killed because he realizes that he loves his wife. He wants to be with his wife. So then here comes Sagiri, who is an executioner, and she has an offer for him that there's expeditions to the afterlife, which is called Paradise conveniently, and they're trying to find an elixir of life. And there's a group of convicts that are going. Whichever one finds it and brings it back is going to be pardoned. and he will be, along with his pardon, he will be able to live freely without fear of, retaliation for him leaving his village. So that's kind of the main setup of the show. So when they get to the Paradise Island, there's a whole bunch of rules. They have to stay with their executioner. If the executioner dies, whether they get killed or they die by one of the beasts on the island, then the convict that they were with also gets killed. So, that's kind of not up to them. So his Sagiri, she is very much a stickler for the rules. She does not play. She makes Gabi Madu keep his hands tied, even when they come across other convicts who don't have their hands tied. She still insists that he has his hands tied. And she says she has no problem killing him if he gets out of line. However, I will say that her character does grow. I didn't really focus on her in the rankings because it's not about her, but and her sticking to the rules really annoyed me in the beginning. But I will say that she does grow, and she helps Hollow to grow, and Hollow helps her to grow. So I think that they were a good match to be together on that island. Now, as far as the island, so when they get there, there's a whole bunch of beasts and creatures that they have to fight. And, some convicts die, some of the executioners die. And eventually Gabi Madu teams up with a couple of the other convicts and their executioners as well. So they eventually learn that the elixir of life is real, but it's guarded by the Tenzin. And Tenzin, a simple way to describe them is they're like gods, basically. They're kind of all the same, but they're just like split up, kind of. They're different people. So the main conflict is that they're immortal, so they're not really that easy to defeat. So that is where the show kind of takes us to figuring out how they're going to get this elixir of life, finding out if they find out that it's real, but finding out, what exactly that means, what it means that the elixir is real. So it was a different show. I don't think I've ever watched a show similar to this, but it was really good. I enjoyed it. I really liked it, and I'm super excited. I can't wait for season 2 to come out. So first action 7, setting the bar high. We'll see what comes after this. As always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe.